Hey everybody, it's Valor Swanson here from Life Size. Am I pointing here correctly? Life Size. For another live stream episode to talk about all kinds of wonderful things related to customer experience in the cloud. I can never get the directions right on where this thing is. Guys, I'm trying to grow my beard back, so I'm looking a little patchy today, but don't mind that. It's not about my beard. It's about what we're going to be talking about, and that is Interchannel. Yes, interchannel. That's going to be a new term, guys. If you type it into your Word or your email or whatever, it's going to come up as a misspelled word. But I'm going to explain exactly what it is as we go through the chat today. But before we get going, I want to talk about the three things that we talked about last week, and that's about turning the camera on. And so that was to make sure that you had the right use cases, that you need to basically put together a reason to have the camera in your contact center environment. How easy is it to pivot to video for the customer with the technology that you have? And how can you start? When you start small, then you grow your way out as it relates to getting a proof of value. So today, interchannel. So what am I talking about? So get your notepads out, get your pens ready, make sure your pencils are sharpened, because I'm about to give you a scenario here that you're going to have to take some serious notes here on this, right? Ready? Here we go. Chat comes in. You're chatting with the customer. Then you send them a link. The link goes to an FAQ. The FAQ doesn't do the trick. So then the customer gets there's a hyperlink in the FAQ that goes back to the chat option with the customer. But then the customer wants to talk to the agent, so he clicks on that link. That link sets him up to go in front of the queue for a callback. The call comes back to the customer with a live agent. The agent is talking with the customer about how the issue of their router is not working. So the agent sends a chat message back in that same call, the voice call, in the same call though, through the chat channel, to say, here, click on this, and then give me permission to turn on the video. And then that video actually then allows the agent to talk to the customer right there, just live, just like, WhatsApp or Skype or whatever it is that you might be using on the platform. Ooh, jumping all over the place here. So that they can actually help them understand how to connect their router live right there, technician in their pocket, pop them out right there, helping them connect that router for the first time ever without having to do it again. And so this is really important, because now you've got the customer in a situation where when you do the final bit of this journey, when you send them a note to say, hey, how did it go? You're not necessarily going to ask them, would you recommend us? I wouldn't recommend that you ask the question, would you recommend us? You're not going to ask them, how satisfied were you with Johnny, Johnny, the agent that helped you kind of address that router issue. But you're going to be more concerned with the effort. You want to know exactly how much effort that customer had to put forward in order to address their issue. And just a little side note here, I just want to digress for a second, because we do customer experience CSAT survey programs as well, and help you with that whole bit with your business. And you want to do it on a scale from 1 to 6. You don't want to do it from 1 to 5, because 1 to 5, then they click on 3 and you really don't know what they were saying. But a 1 to 6 scale on customer effort forces the customer to basically tell you, on a scale from 1 through 3, the effort was kind of, wasn't that bad. But the scale from 4 to the 6 is that, it was, there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of effort at 6. I mean, God, it was just horrible. So this tells you how to go back and basically address the workflow. So what's happened here? Well, it's, happy days is what's happened here. You've actually addressed a customer goal within one contact. Now, if you were taking notes, I was jumping all over the place. But to the customer's mind, they weren't jumping all over the place. They were just trying to get to their router getting fixed. And so they were flowing in and dipping in and out of the different channels, and you're dipping in and out as well with the customer to get to that goal. And so at the end of that, the customer gets trained, and then the customer can show their friends and family, oh, look at I'm an expert now on setting up routers because I got trained by this agent after kind of going back and forth through these different channels. And of course, everybody loves an expert. And then also you understand at the end of that how much effort a customer was putting in to actually get to their goal based on their feedback there, that final bit, which is that feedback. Now, with that feedback right there, you go back and you start to work on your flows so that you can understand, again, how do you make sure that the customer can interchannel or go through a channelless situation to actually get to their goal, so that their effort is a lot lower. And the reason I keep coming up with this effort thing is because net promoter score is actually an outcome of a low effort engagement with the customer. So if you want your net promoter score to go up, you want CSAT to go up, make sure that the customer is not going through a bunch of struggles and trials and tribulations to try to get to their issue. So basically, what's the issue here? What's going on here? Well, silos. So silomania. We have silomaniacs. We have silopathic. How about here's my favorite one, silopsychosis. Are you guys going through silopsychosis with your contact center? And so here's a little graphic that basically demonstrates that we have a situation where right now versus 2 years from now, there's only about, I think it's about 15% of contact centers have no connection between channels, and 45% of them have limited connections, and only 8% or 8.5% have all the channels connected at all in the first place. So the point here is that you're working in silos. You want to get past silos, and you might think to yourself, well, of course we're working in silos because they're different channels. First it was single channel, then it went to multi-channel, then it went to omni-channel. But now it's interchannel, because you want to be able to connect these channels from a standpoint of the customer's view on things, not on what you think should be happening. So what happens when you have different channels? Well, basically the customer's experience is not as good as it could be, because they are struggling to try to get to their goal, and they're having to basically navigate the way you set up your business for them to contact you. Now, think about it. When a customer contacts you on one channel, right? Say they come in through the chat, you typically talk back to them through the chat. If they call you, you typically call them back, and when you're talking to them back and forth on that voice call. So it's kind of like, just no matter what door they come in, you're talking back to them on the same door. But we want to get away from that. We want to get away from these silos, completely dispel that, to go basically to what Forrester is calling a channelless environment, or what I'm calling interchannel. So what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean to you? Well, it means that you're going to have inconsistent experiences with your customers when they're calling you, because if somebody happens to go down that path, they're going to experience maybe struggles, a high effort to try to get something done. If they happen to call, they might get that one agent that can actually describe what the issues are that the customer has to address in order to solve their problem. Or they might get that agent that really didn't they missed that day of training that day. I mean, that time that they actually had to learn how to do the router correctly. So when they're talking to the customer, they're not really explaining it as well as they should. So it's very different experiences that are happening there, because what's happening you're basically kind of, it's like throwing dice for the customer when they're kind of going through these different channels. So how do we address this? What do we need to do? Well, we need to kind of think about the evolution of these different channels, right? So the cure is here that we actually have to address the fact that, for example, 64% of all companies out there, they can't identify key decision points for the customer. 75% can't locate where the process blockages are. And 35% of the organization can't even track the interactions that cross between the channels. So you're stuck. It's really a bit of a mess, guys, out there, that you're stuck in these different silos and these different channels, and not understanding what the customer is going through. So we got a little graphic here I want to show you guys that basically talks about, guys, this is all available to you. You can click on these links and you can get these charts and graphs and cool little factoids that we're going to be putting out in the blogs subsequent to these presentations. But what basically, you're going from a multi-channel environment where you're trying to satisfy the customer, to an omni-channel basic, where you're trying to retain the customer based on allowing them to kind of go in and wherever they want, to an omni-channel advanced, where you're trying to create loyalty because the customer, their effort is going down, and it is a little easier for them to work with you, to channelless, or what I'm coining as interchannel, right, for that silopsychosis problem that we're having out there. And so basically, when you're in a channelless environment or an interchannel environment, you're creating a situation where you're an advocate of the customer. You're saying, customer, I don't care where you start, Your goal is to get to why you called us, and we're going to help you get there no matter what you want to do, no matter what's the best way to do it. So things are evolving, guys, and we want to make sure that we are using multi-channel technology and omnichannel technology and channelless technology that's going to be focused on being wrapped around the customers or customer-centric environment. And so what do we do? What do we do now? What do we do? So well, of course you have to address it, but is your customer experience program matching up with the actual experience? I mean, are you basically saying, oh, we provide the best customer experience out there. We provide the best customer journeys out there. You're internally having these meetings trying to kind of work your way through these customer journeys that are going down their own individual streams, but actually does the reality of the situation completely match that for the customer? Okay. And so does your customer journey principles that you put out there, is that matching the actual reality is my point here. Now, are you able to follow up on that promise? Are you working to actually address that? Does the technology that you have support the ability to do that? And there's technology out there that can do this interchannel, that can be channelless, because there's no need for you to try to do a patchwork of connecting this particular phone system with that particular email system to try to make it work when there's things out there and choices that you can have that are basically powered by the cloud to be able to do this. Okay, so basically, what are the three takeaways today? Three takeaways. Can't forget the three takeaways. You guys you need to look at your customer journey from your customer's perspective. I mean, truly look at it from the customer's perspective. And again, they don't care about your channels or your KPIs for those channels and how the agents need to answer so many calls in so many seconds, or that an email gets a response in so much time. All they care about is, can I get my router fixed, or can I, get my order, or whatever it is. So look at it from that standpoint. I mean, it's a complete paradigm shift if you think about it. And can you actually, here's the challenge. Can your customer get to their outcome in one contact, regardless of the channel? I mean, challenge yourself to say, okay, this customer is trying to get to this. How easy is it for them to flow in and out of the different channels to get to that goal right now? Or how hard is it right now? And look at it that way. And then finally, I think this is the kind of like, this is the crescendo here. This is the actual point of the entire stream today. Are your agent's skills based on the relationship with the customer, not the relationship with the channel or the device? Think about that. Are your agent's skills based on the relationship with the customer, regardless of the channel or the device? I mean, and that changes everything when you kind of put that into perspective. So that's today's show, guys. It was kind of quick. It was kind of fast, but I think I made the point here with omnichannel going to interchannel or channelless. We're going to have some more information there available for you guys there on the bottom. And until next time, guys, we'll see you here on Customer Experience in the Cloud. Take care. Bye-bye.